This session I'm going to show you how to fly the quadcopter, how to do the learn the mechanic of the controller. So your left joystick is your throttle, which is your up and down. And then at the same time, when you rotate this, the joystick to the left or right, it will rotate the quadcopters. So if you happen to rotate to the right, then this will rotate to the right here. And then if you move this to the left, it will rotate to the left. So this is your yaw control for the controller. Now on your right side is your side clicks. So if you move this forward, it goes forward. So forward and then go backward. If you move it backward, and then if you go to the left or right, it will bang. So it'll bang to the left and bang to the right. That's your 4 controller function. That's your 4 channel functions. You have some minor trimming on this. Those are the trimming knobs. So if the quadcopter happen to, when you get it up in the air and it rotates slightly, or it goes forward slightly, or go backward slightly, so that's your trimming knob to make it more counter the force, to make it more stable. Is do the 4 knobs for the trimming. Your center functions, right now you don't have to do anything to it to do the learning. When you get more familiar, you can go to my PDF files. You can able to see what are the additional features of the programs. So it has nothing to do with the learning right now. This is the basic section to show you how to operate the quadcopters. So let's begin. So if you move this up about maybe 20% of the joystick, it'll rotate the quadcopters. I mean, it'll begin to rotate all the blade when you move the throttle up. Now, you want it to start on a smooth surface like cement or maybe hard surface. No grass or carpet that you should have this started on, because you got to tip them and then you got to tip them on the side and then you got to break the blade. So always start the quadcopter flying on a hard surface. So when you raise this up a little higher, it begins to move the blade a little higher. Now, you always use 2 hands to control it. And if you notice my fingers, I'm slightly touching the radio. And I'm also always use 2 hands to counter the control. You can see. So always use 2 hands to control at all time. It's not that you raise up the throttle and it will go up to wherever you want it. It doesn't do that way because you have a lot of ground effects, and also you have the learning curve. You have to get used to the sensitivity of the controller. So again, start off from a hard surface, no grass or carpet to start off. Bring this up slowly. So as you can see, when the quadcopter is going away from you, you want to just walk over there and bring it back to you. So don't try to get it too far away from you and then you have no control. You want the heading to be away from you. So when you go forward, it's forward. Your heading is your yellow portion of the quadcopters, and the tail is the black portions. So yellow goes to the front and back, the rear is a black. So you want it this way to do the learning initially. Again, let's bring this up. Now if you notice, one of the blade doesn't turn. If you sometimes turn slower than the other 3, that's normal because it's sucking the power off from the 4 motors. Sometimes it's not evenly distributed. So you have one of the motor kind of seems like it's stuck, but it's not stuck. So if that's the case, then you just power down on the throttle and then bring it back up again. So once you get up in the air, you notice my throttle stick is only about maybe halfway. I'm using more on my right hand than my left hand control. I notice my quadcopter, when I bring it up, it try to rotate a little bit to the right side. So I let go of the controller and then I trim it out a little bit. So always trimming when you shut off everything, you trim. So now I'm trimming it to the left so it can rotate back to the counter the force with the little trimming. And let's bring it back up again. So now if I let go of the controller, it's going to the left side now. So I might have over trim it. So I'm going to trim it backward, back to the other side a little bit more. I try to make it as possible, as stable, as not rotating either one of the side. So now I'm bringing it up again. So now if I let go of the hand on the right joystick a little bit to see if it rotates, it doesn't rotate anymore. And if you notice, I'm putting 50% of the power, and now it's lifting off about maybe a couple inches. I'm using more on my right joystick to do the learning. So if I go forward, it goes forward. If I go backward, it goes backwards. And if I move to the left, it bangs to the left. If I move to the right, it bangs to the right. So you want to set it to the stage that the quadcopter can only go up to about 1 inch or 2 inches off the ground only for the learning. You can see it's actually trying to float a little bit off the ground only. So your initial learning, you want to go through this learning stage for about a couple hours, at least about maybe 3 or 4 packs of the battery pack to do the minimum hovering learning. So set the throttle stick about maybe halfway to let it off for about a couple inches off the ground, and then trim it out. Make sure that you don't rotate. And then that will take care of the trimming side of the side. And then on this side here is your learning curve, where you mostly 80% of the involvement is your right hand. Again, one last time. I already trimmed out the yaw control, so it doesn't rotate anymore. So again, using two hands, always use two hands to initially do the fly up. So get off the ground about maybe 1 or 2 inches only. And now once it's off the ground for 1 or 2 inches, then you can use this hand to get more familiar with the joystick for the learning. So once you're able to learn how to hovering pretty stable, then you move this your left joystick throttle to go up a little bit more, about maybe 1 or 2 feet off the ground. Again, you always mess around with your right hand. I'm setting it to about maybe 1 or 2 feet off the ground. So you want to fly like this for another couple hours. Right now I'm locking pretty much setting the trim to perfectly balanced, so it won't rotate. That's the main key, is rotation, that you want it to be straight ahead for the flying. So when you finish flying, make sure you want to turn off the power first on this, and then turn off the radio.